Hello, welcome to Ghostland OBS Gaming. Today we're going to go over the long range, hopefully the last update for the long range meta for Season 6, and I assume for the game since we'll be rolling into Modern Warfare 3 here in a couple of weeks. But MetaGen, if you're not familiar, it's from True Game Data. It's a tool they have, kind of takes all the guns once the updates are done and builds the best gun possible for each gun and then ranks it. So we're going to go over those. And I'll give you the rankings for them. And I did leave out three. I'll go ahead and let you know. Number 4, which was the Rap H. Number 8, which is the RAL. And number 9, the Saken. Reason being is I did go with the HCR at number 5. And, I'm not really a big LMG player, so I figured one LMG was all I needed, and that's why I left those out. But if you like to use LMGs, I'd probably recommend the RAP H and the RAL. Probably are the two best options other than the HCR. But let's get into it. Number 1, the TAC 56 was number 1 last update. Stays number 1. I'll go over the next gun, which I think will probably be your best option, but this is how they ranked out. The build is the Echoless muzzle, tuned for recoil smoothness and bullet velocity, along with the Tundra barrel, tuned for recoil steadiness and damage range. Aim op, that's personal choice, along with the tuning on those. 60 rounds in the F-Tac Ripper, which for some reason I'm not able to tune my underbarrels lately. So let me know if you're having that same issue. But let's just take a look at it. It's a nice gun. Really easy to use. Because I missed other stuff. You see it long range. You're not goofing around. Still hits. All right, well, let's check out the next build. Coming in at number 2 is the Lockman 556. It's number 2, but like I was saying earlier, I think it may be possibly the best option. I think it's a little bit better accuracy. I've tested it on the firing range, and consistently it's a little more accurate than the TAC 56. Very close, but it is more accurate. We're going with the same muzzle, Echoless 80, tuned for recoil smoothness and bullet velocity. The Lockman Wrap barrel, tuned for recoil steadiness and damage range. I went with the aim op as personal choice. 60 rounds in the F-Tac Ripper, which again I'm not allowed, not being able to tune that. But it also is pretty accurate gun. I think it's more accurate. It's a laser. This is my suggestion. And then next, the Cast-Off 545, good solid gun. The build on it is the Komodo Heavy, tuned for recoil stabilization and recoil control. I went with the aim op, again, personal preference, along with the tuning. 60 rounds, high velocity, tuned for recoil smoothness, bullet velocity, and the F-Tac Ripper. Again, that's a nice, good, low recoil option. Good gun. Let's check out the M4, which came in actually at number 9. So I didn't put the TAC V or the HCR ahead of it. I did put it later in the loadout, but this is number 9 loadout. Of according to MetaGen. And its build is the X10 ported, tuned for recoil stabilization, recoil control. The high tower barrel, tuned for recoil steadiness and aim down sight. I went with the aim op, 60 rounds, and F-Tac Ripper. I think it's good option. As you tell, it's not quite as good long range, but mid range probably very good option there. I think a lot of your interactions are probably mid range. So the next one is the M13, and that one came in at number 10. And that builds Komodo heavy, tuned for recoil stabilization, recoil control. The Bruin Echelon barrel, tuned for recoil steadiness and damage range. Aim op, 60 rounds and high velocity. I was a little surprised they didn't go with the F-Tac Ripper and they went with the high velocity. But this is the MetaGen build, and that is tuned for damage range and bullet velocity. Another low recoil option. That's why I have them higher up in my loadouts. So the next one is the Razorback. It kind of got hit here with a nerf, so it did drop a little bit, and they have it now at number 11. And it is tuned, the X10 ported muzzle, tuned for recoil stabilization and recoil control. The aim optic, 60 rounds, over pressure. I think that should be high velocity. So I'll have to go back and change that. But high velocity be tuned for damage range and bullet velocity. The DM prototype grip. Let's take a look at it. I'm going to try that one. A little more recoil issues, but a lot more damage. Seems like it's got a little harder to use there since I've tried it. The HCR, like I said, this one came in at number 5. I really like this one because it comes with 100 rounds. I think that could be key with quads. It's a little more recoil, but very manageable. The build is with the X10 ported muzzle, tuned for recoil stabilization, recoil control. I went with the SZ Recharge DX optic on this one. 100 rounds, high velocity, tuned for recoil smoothness and recoil steadiness to help with the recoil issues with this gun. And then you got the F-Tac Ripper. But like I said, it's got recoil, but I think once you use it a little bit, very manageable. Plus you have the 100 rounds if you are missing a few. And next, the TAC V. I was a little surprised to see this. Haven't used it in a while. It does have a lot of recoil. I did test it out yesterday. But I guess the damage is maybe worth it. Maybe some of these mid-range fights. So let's see how they have it built. They have it built with the Tempest GH50, tuned for recoil stabilization and recoil control. The F-Tac Ripper, high velocity, tuned for recoil smoothness and bullet velocity. 50 round mag and the aim optic. Take a look at that one. As you can tell, a lot more recoil, but it is manageable. Probably have a little bit better luck with the second target area, like here. Once you get outside that range, it's a little harder. And next, the Hemlock. It's always been a straight shooter. Sometimes they nerf it a little bit where it's not has that much damage, but now they have it in at number 12 build, and it has the Komodo heavy, with the recoil stabilization, recoil control. The fielder barrel with recoil steadiness and damage range. Aim optic, 45 rounds, and the F-Tac Ripper. I really think the only thing that really holds this back from being higher is probably the 45 rounds. If it had 60, it would be right up there, probably with, top 4, be my guess. But let's take a look at it. It's nice, low recoil option. There it moves. And getting towards the end here, the last loadout I have is the STB 556. Again, this one only has 42 rounds, so the last two options are maybe better for trios, duos instead of quads. Could get it done in quads, but you probably have a little more issues. But the build here is a Komodo heavy, tuned for recoil stabilization. And recoil control. The Bruin, the 20-inch Bruin S620, tuned for recoil steadiness and damage range. Aim optic, 42 round mag, and the F-Tac Ripper. Let me see. Pretty straight up. I was looking at the damage profile on it, and it's one of the higher ones for mid-range. But it's a nice build. Like I said, probably better for duos and trios. But well, that's it for hopefully the last update for Season 6 in the game. But if you have if you need any help with the loadouts, if you missed something, you can go to the comments or description of the video, rather, and I'll have a link to my loadouts with the build. So appreciate you watching. Tune in next time. Take care.